Prop 10 and being one of the drivers of that, along with Glenn Beck and Karen Siegman, and of course Jenny Story and Glenn Story and the people at Patriot Mobile, everything. Because I'll be honest, I'm kind of trained in the conservative thing to think about the teachers' unions and school choice is a good thing. I didn't realize what buzzsaw I was going to step into, and how, Lynn, you're one of the more controversial characters, let's say, in Texas. But I think there's been some developments over the last 24 hours that prove you right. Now, explain it to her a second. You've said, hey, this school choice thing is something we got to look out for. It's not simply the way it's been always pitched as conservatives. It's actually going to be the key model for how the Muslim invasion and takeover of Texas actually operates. And a judge, I guess yesterday, ruled that in the way Texas does school choice, that Texas citizens are actually going to end up paying for these Islamic schools that go under the school choice. Am I correct in that?
Correct. So if Islam is the squirrel that we're all looking at, let's go. Okay. I think often it's detracting from the Israel First agenda that I also see from the same people pushing for vouchers. But okay, let's talk about Islam. So grassroots mothers warned those of the legislature that if they voted for vouchers, they would be going to Islamic private schools, and they'll be training little jihadis in these schools. And that's what happened. So the federal judge hang
on. People at the time kind of laughed you off as that you're an extremist. This is never going to happen, right? These bills are not set up to do that. But that turned out not to be the case.
Right. So we ended up being right about it. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
What did you just? Yeah. I mean, I came on the show twice, and we said that this was going to happen. Yeah, going to be tied up in litigation, and here we are.
But the first time that you actually brought this up as an issue, people dismissed it that this will never happen, that there'll never be a situation where you're going to actually have Islamic schools. You were looked at as an extremist, or you've got a hidden agenda with teachers' unions. This is not going to happen, right?
Right. I've been called a Democrat, that I'm aligned with the teachers' unions. Sorry, we have a delay.
And more importantly, the courts backed up yesterday. What did the court say about this?
The court said that they can't discriminate against Islamic private schools, so they extended the deadline, which was supposed to be March 17th, and they extended it to March 31st so that these Islamic private schools can apply to the comptroller's office to be a provider to accept the vouchers, and then the families can apply for the voucher, and that would end March 31st. So it was extended for them, and the issue that we have with the Republican Party that I am a member of and an active member of is that they claim to want to root out Sharia law. We've got Representative Brent Money of House District 2, and he's got this anti-Sharia caucus that they're posturing about, and it's an empty platitude because he voted for vouchers and so did all the members of that caucus. And so here we are. These entitlements, these subsidies are going to go to Islamic private schools.
Let me just get this right. Texas citizens, Texas taxpayers' money is going to go to underwrite Islamic, these one step up from a madrasa of Islamic schools in the state of Texas. Is that what the ruling was?
Right. There's a couple dozen of them in Texas. So not all of them have applied, but the ones that have applied, those voucher dollars can go to fund the Islamic private schools and homeschools and online schools. One of them is actually an online school.
And you're saying they've extended it from the 17th to the 31st to allow more of these schools or more of these students to actually apply for this?
Yes, because they were rejected before because the comptroller ruled them to be connected with terrorists and because of the governor deeming the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as terrorist organizations. So any Islamic private school that had any affiliation with those were denied. And so the judge ruled that they had to accept them anyway because they can't discriminate based on religion. Now, you'd asked a question back when we were during the legislative session. Ahead. Yes, there were parents who the door was closed on us. Holly Plemons was one who the current comptroller was a sitting senator at the time, and his office shut the door on her. They didn't want to hear what we were saying, that these vouchers would go to CCP schools, charter schools. Muslim private schools, and then they could go to LGBTQ schools. They could go to Wiccan schools. It's not limited to just this one religious school. And we don't want our tax dollars funding that. And it grows government. It's not a conservative principle. It expands the reach of government. And I think that that's a problem, that we should not be subsidizing private schools, whether they are my own Christian faith or Islamic faith.
So given that, and we're going to hold you through the break, given the fact that you warned people about it, it wasn't taken, and we are where we are with the courts, I know people are going to be fighting this in the courts more, but what can the citizens do? You just passed a proposition that now they're going to have hearings about and they're going to put on the ballot at some time of prohibiting Sharia law in Texas. How do we do that if we're financing the schools that teach Sharia law, ma'am?
Well, I think, one, we need to repeal Senate Bill 2 and put the genie back in the bottle. I think all of those who were lobbying for this should be called out. Odyssey is the vendor who is receiving they have this contract with the state, so they receive a large percentage, millions upon millions, because the voucher bill, the fiscal note was $1 billion to be expanded to $11 billion. And right now they've got a huge campaign where they are targeting private schools so they can get more people to apply for the voucher, because they want to expand the subsidies. But, besides repealing, so yes, we're going to have all of this theater, because I said this is the squirrel that we're all looking at Islam in Texas, right? So they're going to hold all these interim hearings and these sessions, and it'll be the theater, and everyone's going to focus all their energy on that.
Hang on 1 second. We're going to take a short break. Be right.
This was the last thing my chart.
That is
fight, and a lot of people are going to get involved in this, and there's a lot of interest and a lot of real estate and a lot of money. But you're right, this has to be dealt with, or the Sharia law, you can't prohibit Sharia law and be the folks in Texas underwriting what are essentially madrasas. Let's be blunt. I know they teach some other subject, but it's a madrasa. Where do they go, Lynn, to get up to speed on your content, your YouTube, and your website and social media?
Yes, Lynn S. Davenport on Twitter, on X, and then Telegram channel, Social Impact with Lynn Davenport, and then YouTube is Lynn Davenport. So I have a ton of videos and interviews and things. And I want to say, with this they call it the Sharia-free caucus, I think the GOP activists out there and the members and the grassroots need to call out their reps when they say they're part of this caucus, when they all voted for vouchers. And so they are part of the problem, and they have expanded Sharia law with this. So they're hypocrites. They can't get up there or put on their cowboy hat and put on their red blazer and go back home and say, look, we got rid of Sharia law and we're fighting this. No, they're not. I'm sick of it.
I think what we want to do in the next week or two is do one of the 6 o'clock hours, have you and some other people on and push through this, because I think it's a fight that needs to happen, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you. And giving us a heads up on this months ago when you said this was going to happen. A called shot, as we say in the war room. Okay, I've got our own Neil McKay. Thank you, ma'am. I didn't want to